Hi, it's me, Rachel Lynn, and how do you treat yourself?
3 words for you. Treat yourself. Treat yourself 2011.
Today is a collab video with several other financial YouTubers, and we are talking about free and frugal, or maybe even not so free or frugal ways that we treat ourselves. Taking care of yourself, both mentally and physically, is super important for keeping up with daily life. I'm not necessarily saying go all out and just spend all your money on yourself, but there are certain things that need to be done to take care of yourself. It's really important to take care of yourself so that if you are trying to achieve certain financial goals, you are in it for the long haul. If you neglect yourself, eventually you're going to fall apart and you're not going to do yourself or anybody else any favors. And that includes getting out of debt. So I will link a playlist, and I will also link everybody's channel down below, everyone that is participating. So please go check out all of their channels and check out their videos on how they treat themselves and take care of themselves. If you are just coming to my channel from one of their videos, well, hello and welcome to my channel. I make videos about getting out of my student loan debt and losing some weight along the way. So if any of that interests you, please join me and hit that subscribe button and leave me a comment down below and let me know whose channel it was that you came from. So I have been working on becoming debt-free for about a year, and I have about 2 more years left to go. So this is a long marathon, not a sprint, in getting out of debt. So the following are many different ways that I treat myself so that I can go through this long trudge of getting out of debt. So I am a teacher, and I am extremely blessed that my students' parents are so kind and generous, and I get a lot of gift cards from my students' parents for Christmas and for other things like teacher appreciation, and even for Valentine's Day and some of those things. So I actually have a nice big stack, probably about that big, full of gift cards. Some of them have been around for a while. I don't go to Cracker Barrel that often, but I do have 3 gift cards for going to Cracker Barrel. Some of them, they get used right away, but regardless, I have a lot of gift cards, and I use those to kind of treat myself a little bit. I know some people that are working their way out of debt, they might use gift cards. They might use that as their spending money in place of their actual money, and then kind of essentially put that extra gift card money towards debt by using it in their budget. I don't add the gift cards to my budget. I spend them as extra eating out, or even extra spending if they're just general gift cards or like my Target gift cards. Another thing that I do is I buy good chocolate. I don't like cheap chocolate, and I don't want to waste my calories on cheap chocolate, and I don't want to waste my money on cheap chocolate. What I do is buy really good chocolate, and I use it sparingly. I eat just a little bit at a time, which that also helps, you know, with the weight loss, and I'm not just eating a whole bunch of candy. A little bit of chocolate every now and then is really good for the soul, but because I use it so sparingly, it's also not detrimental to either my budget or my waistline. Another thing that I do that is more frugal is I paint my own toenails. I love getting my nails done and going out and getting that done, but it's very expensive, and you also have to tip. I do feel like my toenails must be painted, especially as I'm losing weight and I am going through diet bet, and you have to take pictures of your feet on the scale. I feel like my toes need to be painted. So I do that myself. I often think about doing my nails and think that that would be great, but I never really get around to it. I also spend extra money to buy contacts, and I feel like that's a way that I treat myself. I will say though that contacts are also kind of a need, because my prescription is so strong and my glasses are so heavy that just wearing my glasses for a day or two really actually starts to affect my breathing, and it closes off my nasal passages, and so contacts are kind of more of a necessity. But there is a little bit of vanity in there, and I will be honest about that. Another way that I treat myself is I just simply have an eating out budget. I know that I'm going to eat out sometimes. I know that I'm going to want to eat out sometimes, so I put that in my budget. I I also have spending money in my budget to spend on whatever it is that I want to spend on. Now, certain things do have to come out of this budget as well. That includes replenishing things like shampoo, conditioner, makeup, or other things that I might need. I do take that out of my spending budget, so it's not all just whatever I want to spend it on, but I do have the spending money there. Speaking of things like shampoo and conditioner, that's another thing. I splurge on slightly more expensive shampoo and conditioner. I don't buy the cheapest thing out there. It just completely ruins my hair. I know that because that's a big thing that my parents bought when I was growing up, and so I know that it just does not work on my hair very well, and especially even the cheaper ones, I just know that I will not buy those bottles of shampoo. They just don't work for my hair. I spend a little bit extra and I actually buy Pantene or Dove, both of which are a little bit more expensive than the dollar shampoos, but they work for my hair much better, and I think that it's worth the extra money. I also spend a little bit more in makeup. I don't buy my makeup from the dollar store. I don't buy my makeup from even the grocery store. I like to get my makeup from Sephora, but then I also buy the Sephora brand, so it is the cheaper end. I also have a clothing sinking fund. Now, this is mostly due to necessity, just because things do wear out, but I'm okay with spending a little bit of money just because there's a shirt that I see that I really want. This past Christmas, there was a Christmas sweater that I really wanted to buy because it had a flamingo on it, and I love flamingos, and my classroom theme is flamingos, so I had to buy a flamingo Christmas sweater, and I don't feel bad about it because that was in my clothing budget. Another way that I treat myself is by taking care of myself. I'm eating better and I'm exercising, but I do this in free ways. I walk my dog. My parents have a treadmill that I take full advantage of using whenever I can't walk outside. Some things I do kind of fall into that spending category, but I've gone out to the movies a couple of times this past year just because I had friends or family that wanted to go and I wanted to spend that time with them, so we went. I've done other things with my friends, going out. Maybe it's out to eat and I use my money from my restaurant budget, but all of these things help lift my spirit by spending time with friends and family, but it is within my budget, and so therefore I consider it a frugal way to spend money. Another thing that I have done just to kind of treat myself is I went on a family trip. We went on the Bourbon Trail. Now, we stayed at home to save money because, I mean, we live in Kentucky and everywhere around us is bourbon, and so it's easy to get to, but it did actually take us a couple of weeks to fully complete the trail. We didn't go every single day, but we took several days and made day trips out of it, and I spent a lot of money, a lot more money than I would have wanted to, and I do regret spending as much money as I did on souvenirs, so that didn't make it so frugal, but I don't regret that time that I spent with my family, and I don't regret actually going on the tours and paying for all of that. And had I done just that, it would have been a fairly frugal trip that we took, but the souvenir buying, that was my fault, and I do regret that. But I lived and I learned from that experience, and now I know don't buy all the souvenirs. And then the last way that I have treated myself in the last year is I bought a new bed. I was having severe back pain sleeping on a twin size mattress that I had had since high school. When I moved back home with my parents to help me pay off my student loan debt, I was back in the bed that I had when I was in high school, and just the back pain was really bad. So I saved up and paid cash for a brand new bed. That has completely changed my back situation, a complete 180. So these are all of the ways that I treat myself. I do my best to try to keep things free, or at least as frugal as possible when I do treat myself. I would love to know from you, what are some ways that you treat yourself? If you are trying to get out of debt, maybe even trying to lose weight like I am as well, what are some things that you do to treat yourself without actually hurting your progress? Leave me a comment down below and let me know. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you are not already. I make videos about getting out of my student loan debt and losing some weight along the way. Tomorrow I am posting for Money Monday all of the money that I spent in the last week, and I do that every Monday. Every Wednesday is a weigh-in Wednesday where I tell you how I did and weigh in officially for my diet bets and how I did in losing weight, in eating, in exercising, and all of that. And then on Fridays I have Financial Fridays and talk about my budgets or other money related topics. And then I'll also post on some other days of the week depending on if there is something else that has come up that we need to talk about. Don't forget to go check out everybody else's video in this collab. That's all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye.